Hey, what's up? How you doing? Clint Maximus here from Where's the Beef Gamer podcast. Today we are checking out our big review for NBA 2K21. You're probably wondering why have I put some NBA Jam in the background there. Well, that's because that was the last NBA game I've actually played, and I'm not joking. Seriously, the last NBA game that I played was NBA Jam. It was just a very basic, simple basketball game, and that's ideally what I loved about it. So coming to a new generation, especially now with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, how do I fare now with this new game? Let's take a look. Right, so what I'm going to do, we're going to take a look at this in two perspectives. I'll give you all the good stuff that I liked about it, and then there's a couple of things that I didn't like. And then I'll give you my final score. First things first, how the game looks, amazing. Was checking online some graphic comparisons from the last generation up until the new generation now, and believe me, there is a big difference. There's a lot of different facial expressions in the players when they're scoring, when they're coming off court. I think one thing you're going to notice is definitely the skin complexities, the colors, very vivid, very textured, they look more human. I think this is definitely a step in the right direction to make those faces and animations look more realistic, because there's times when they're kind of like looking at the camera, especially during interview sections, or maybe they're getting ready to do a shot or something. Sometimes their faces just kind of look off into the distance like they're thinking about something else, but it's getting there. So definitely you have to keep an eye on the facial animations because they're really good. When they're coming in for a slam dunk, doing a layup, passing, you can see the expressions on their face as you're playing. Another thing that looks really good has to be the crowds. I think we're hitting that point where it's not exactly every individual person is doing something, but you can see that it's not just a copy paste of people, sat down or standing up, cheering. That's another big step in the right direction for me. It definitely adds more realism to the gameplay. Ray tracing in this looks really cool as well. Reflections on the floor, reflections off the body from the sweat, something that I mentioned already. Lighting as well, especially on they have the big projectors, the big screens during the matches. You can see that they've used the ray tracing very well in that. There's really a lot to do as well when you first open that game. Everything from My Career, which we'll get into in just a second. There's also WNBA as well, where you can go into the women's tournament and check that out as well, which I think that's the first time that's been done, so that's a good plus. Also, there's My Team as well, which is where you kind of build on your own fantasy team from past and present, and that's like a big collecting card game as well. Couldn't really get my head around some of it, but it was fun, it was enjoyable. There's also My NBA as well in there, where you can check out the playoffs. There's also 2K Share Scenarios, where you can check out scenarios during play. There's also 2K Share Setups, and also My NBA, where you can jump straight into the action. You've also got Play Now, where you can literally just jump straight into it, play as some of your favorite basketball teams. There's also Hit the Streets with Blacktop, and also there's Training. This is something that I went through a lot, just trying to figure out what buttons do. Also, one thing I really digged about the game, and this is something that this kind of series is famous for, is the soundtrack, the music. Really cool. Everything from Stormzy, The Weeknd, Cardi B, you name it, everything's on there. I heard some pretty cool alternative music as well, so it's like a nice mix and match. So all in all, as an experience, so far it's actually quite good. Now let me get into My Career. At first I was a bit overwhelmed by just how much choice you have. A lot of the stuff, I had no idea what I was doing. My Career is pretty cool. It does make you feel for your character. The story is nothing over the top, but in the end it's basketball. What more is going to happen in a basketball story? Now let me just get into a couple of things that I didn't actually like about the game. I think one is getting into the city. So in order for me to get into the city, I need to play online and rank up my score to get past rank 1 or whatever it is, and then pass the gates and go into the city. Unfortunately, I couldn't get into the city because of two reasons. One, I'm a terrible player, and two, because there wasn't enough people online. You would literally stand on the side of the court for just a one-on-one for maybe minutes. Sometimes even 5 minutes, just literally waiting. Waiting for an actual one-on-one, just to try and build up your rank, and then, it can take a long time. I mean, heaven forbid you want to do 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 because no one's ever about. The times I've been online, I've only seen maybe just a handful of players, maybe 4 or 5 people, that's it. Second thing that really got me was microtransactions. Don't like it, not a fan of it. This is something I detest in games. I know some people think, yeah, the game developers need to make money as well on the side, but don't forget, you're already paying for the game. You're already spending $70. Don't forget, this is a next-gen game. You're paying $70 for the game, or if you're buying a deluxe edition, you're paying up to $100. So, for you to go into the grind and try and get more, shoes, upgrade yourself, for you to go in and pay, I detest it. It's not something, I don't think that's what gaming's about anymore. So I think all in all, the game itself is enjoyable. I can see this being a lot of fun if I have friends over, definitely, or if I'm playing online with people that I know. I can't play online right now because obviously players are good and I need to practice. As I said, it is an enjoyable game. I like playing as some of the famous NBA teams. My career, I think, could have been a bit of a lost opportunity for something much, much bigger. And I honestly think game companies need to get rid of microtransactions. I think it's a bad thing. And just before we finish off, just a couple of things that I thought were quite hilarious in the game. When doing my career, there's something really strange happening in his pants when you try and change his shirt number. Second of all, this guy dresses a bit like my mom from the 70s. I'm pretty sure she had that scarf and that coat. Seriously, for a second I was like, dude, you're dressing like my mother. And then final one today has to be this. I'm not sure the last time you went to go and buy shirts or shoes, but if you're going to go down to the docks and buy your shirts and shoes from an old cargo container, then that's a little bit dodgy. Thank goodness it was the daytime. I wouldn't have even gone over there to check. Special deal for you, my friend. Special deal. Honestly, they should have had a dude pop out with a trench coat with the shirts inside and the shoes inside. That would have been brilliant. So what do I give NBA 2K21? I think I'll give it a 7.5. Just because I thought the game was enjoyable on one side, but other stuff I thought was a missed opportunity. Definitely check us out on our official Instagram page, which is Where's the Beef Gamer Podcast, and you can also find me, Clint Maximus, on Instagram as well. See you later.